Welcome again, Sagittarius. It's March 2015. I'm Dadhichi Toth from astrology.com.au with your monthly forecast. And at a quick glance, the fifth house of your horoscope is dominated by the presence of very strong, friendly and not so friendly planets. The friendly one indeed is Mars, ruling that fifth house itself. So this is a very strong placement. It is the sector of future karma, by the way. And having Venus there, which is the planet ruling your friendships as well as your place of work, this is a strong and dominant influence relating to affairs of the heart tied in with your work, or perhaps being initiated. I could use that word rather loosely. This is called astrological license, by the way. I don't like to look at things always in a cut and dry fashion. You know, initiation can be a newfound understanding of the work that you want to do and the approach you take to that, and gaining some spiritual benefits from that. You know, spontaneous creativity is ruled by the fifth house, and having so many planets there shows us that you are feeling somewhat creative. That can be in your work, it can be through some hobby, but I dare say that you may find some new method of enjoying the work that's cut out for you now. If you've not seen my introduction this month, I do talk a lot about the what versus the how of our path in life. You know, often a lot of people are struggling with, how do I become successful? How do I become happy? And all the while they haven't yet figured out the what. You know, you need the what. What is it that's going to make you happy? What is it that's going to make you successful? You need to work on that. And I think, judging from what I see here, this is clearly what is indicated. I love the fact that on the 6th of March, we see the beautiful full moon there in your 10th house of career. That's ruling the 8th house, which is not particularly a good house, but it is an investigative house. And what this can do, it can open up your work prospects due to your research and your ability to unearth some information that is vital to you getting to the what. If you don't have information at your hands, at your fingertips, it makes it hard to move forward. And that, of course, is shown by the retrograde movement of Jupiter, which is your ruling planet in the 9th house. 9th house, along with the 5th, is the other spiritual house. So I think a lot of your issues are related to these spiritual dilemmas you may have. And again, I'm using that word loosely. Spiritual in terms of feeling absolutely beautifully creative and loving and content and satisfied in the way you do your work and the type of work that you do. So this month is very much about finding your niche, finding your rhythm in the work that you do, and that's the zone, I guess, and being completely content with what you discover through that. Now, the new moon takes place on the 20th, and that occurs in Pisces. So this is a departure from what I've just been talking about there in terms of your work and whatnot. This has more to do with your home life and your property and your domestic circumstances. And that is definitely showing a very, very strong new cycle emerging for you. After what we see there in the earlier part of the month, this right angle of the Sun to Saturn. Some of you may have had some fairly heavy emotional responsibilities there back home. But the new moon there on the 20th is a lovely light at the end of the tunnel for some of you, I must say. And that gives you the opportunity to broaden your scope, to feel as if you can offload or at least share some of the responsibility of what you've got there in your home life. And for some of you, this could even mean purchasing a new home or moving residence, because the new moon, starting that new cycle, is not just about emotional issues. It is about the material side of life as well, and acquiring a new property, a new car, these bigger fixed assets that are dominated and ruled by this 4th sector of the horoscope. So let's take a look here as well at some of these other transits. Venus is not a friendly planet. It moves to the 6th house, its own what we call domicile. You may end up making an enemy of a friend this month, or there's some behaviours of a friend that you're not quite happy with. You may find that that person is taking advantage of you, or in the least, they are really on a tangent to where you're at, to what you really want to do in life right now. So, that happens sometimes. And unfortunately, you may not be able to talk to that person. That person may not be amenable to changing their mind. If you haven't seen an old friend for a long while, you'll start to see that there's divergence, what I call divergence in friendships. I've just recently made contact with a friend, or rather he made contact with me after, it must have been 30 years. And it wasn't soon after we reconnected. It was all, lovey-dovey. And I made a comment to him about 2 weeks ago, and I don't know, he just completely freaked out and hasn't talked to me since. So that sort of thing. And you see, that comment may have came from the fact that, I've moved along a very different path to him. And what was a strong friendship, strong bonds in the early days is now, it changes. So that's the sort of thing that can happen with that planet moving into this 6th house. 6th house is also your work environment. So I see you after this time really beautifying your workplace and gaining some benefits there, because if you've got a nice environment to work in, you're obviously going to be augmenting those creative elements that I've talked about as well. Finishing up the month, we see on the 28th, Venus in the right angle to Jupiter. Again, that's happening from the 6th house. You may need to spend money to make it, especially if you're in business for yourself. Don't be afraid to circulate that money, because that's where it all comes back from. And the triangular aspect to Pluto on the 30th of March is a beneficial one, but it can make you a little obsessive about your work and what it is you want to achieve. So, just pace yourself and be gentle, be kind to yourself. The final aspect on the 31st is Mercury moving into the 5th house, that love affairs, spiritual initiation area. This is a more light-hearted, humorous sort of transit, so I think it's a nice note to finish the month off and to commence the following month, which I'm going to talk to you about, but only if you join me here again next month, which I'd love. That's here on my channel, and this segment, which I repeat every month, is there for you. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, why not take a look at the more detailed analysis that I offer at the website astrology.com.au. Hope that helps. Look forward to your company next month. Bye-bye.